There comes a moment in every warrior's life when the path goes silent, when the world stops giving answers and starts demanding proof. And that is exactly where you are standing. Don't pretend you wandered here by accident. You were pulled into this moment because something inside you has been whispering, no, demanding, that there must be more than the life you're holding together with trembling hands. You're not lost. You're searching, not for noise, for confirmation. Because lately you felt a pressure building beneath your ribs, like you're stuck between two versions of yourself. One that's dying and one that's trying to be born. And that gap between who you are and who you know you're becoming, it's starting to feel like it might crush you. Some mornings you rise electric, certain the breakthrough is inches away. Other mornings, you can barely move, weighed down by the sickening feeling that you are running in place, while the world sprints ahead without you. And deep down, the darkest question keeps crawling back. What if it never happens for me? But hear this clearly. This message didn't show up because you're failing. It showed up because you've entered the most critical, most dangerous, most defining phase of your life. The in-between. The realm where two realities collide. The life you can see with your eyes and the life you can feel with your soul. The future version of you is real enough to taste, yet distant enough to torment you. And the friction between those two selves is tearing you open. Good. That's how you forge a new identity. Fire never apologizes for burning. Some days you walk like you've already made it. Other days you collapse under the weight of the version you're trying to escape. That emotional whiplash, that instability, that inner chaos. It is not proof that you're lost. It is proof that your transformation is underway. Growth is not a staircase. It is a battlefield. Progress is not a steady climb. It is a war fought in the shadows of your own mind. And your doubt is not the enemy. It is the test. Your doubt asks questions only warriors can answer. Do you still want this? Will you keep going without applause? Will you advance even when unseen, unvalidated, uncelebrated? If you weren't serious, you would have quit already. But you're still here, still moving, still fighting the pull of the old self trying to drag you back into comfort, into mediocrity, into a life too small for your spirit. That alone proves something you refuse to admit out loud. You believe it's coming. Not if, when. Everyone who ever built a life worth mentioning went through the same purgatory. This suspended, agonizing space where effort isn't rewarded immediately and silence mocks you while you work. They all questioned themselves. They all wondered if they were the exception failure would claim. But they stayed. Not because they were fearless, but because their doubt didn't get to vote. Their actions did. And that's where your destiny is being written. Not in your confidence, not in your motivation, but in the days you show up despite feeling hollow, broken, unseen, and uncertain. You keep walking, and that is what separates you from the ghosts who gave up too soon. Stop measuring your progress by your emotions. They lie. Measure it by your discipline, your consistency, your refusal to remain still. Because staying still, that's how you die in the woods. And make no mistake, you are in the woods. You're surrounded by confusion, by wrong turns, by days where it feels like you're making everything worse. But every wrong path you walk teaches you something. Every failure removes one direction that isn't yours. Every painful detour sharpens your navigation. The woods are not punishing you. They're training you. One day you will break through the tree line. And when you do, you'll realize something devastating and beautiful. The in-between was not delaying your life. It was building the version of you capable of holding the life you're asking for. This phase you're resenting, it is the season you will miss. Because this is where you were hungriest. This is where you were forged. This is where you learn to walk without a map, to believe without proof, to move without certainty. Success doesn't end doubt. It just upgrades it. So don't wait until you feel successful to act like the person you're becoming. You become them first. The results show up second. You are closer than you think, closer than your fear admits, closer than your circumstances reveal. The gap is shrinking, not because the world changed, but because you did. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't need permission, doesn't need validation, doesn't need perfect timing, doesn't need to see the whole path to take the next step. That's why this message reached you, not because you're broken, but because you're becoming. And when you finally break through, when you step out of the woods and breathe in a life you fought for one brutal step at a time, you'll understand a truth most people never learn. The in-between wasn't the obstacle, it was the initiation. So keep walking, keep moving, keep enduring the silence. You're not failing, you're transforming. And the version of you waiting on the other side, they exist because you refuse to stop here. Honor this season. You won't need this message again. The next time you look for it, you'll already be living the proof. Now that you understand where you stand, caught between the version of you that's dying and the one clawing its way into existence, you need more than inspiration. You need structure. You need a way to take all that pressure, doubt, hunger, and raw potential and forge it into momentum. Because transformation doesn't unfold by accident. It's engineered through deliberate steps, small, sharp, disciplined actions that cut through the chaos of the in-between. So let's shift from understanding the struggle to weaponizing it. Here are 3 steps to take this wisdom and carve it into your daily life. Step 1. Master the daily march. There is a brutal truth about transformation that most people never accept. Greatness is not built in moments of clarity, motivation, or inspiration. It is built in the quiet, unglamorous repetitions carried out when your mind is exhausted and your heart is uncertain. The daily march is where the real war is fought. This is the arena where you stop negotiating with your feelings and start honoring your decisions. Every day you wake up, you face the same crossroads. Do you move, or do you stay still? Do you act according to your future self, or do you crumble into the patterns of your past? Every choice becomes a vote for who you are becoming or who you are refusing to stop being. The daily march demands that you choose deliberately, even when everything inside you screams for comfort, delay, or distraction. Understand this. Your feelings are not reliable narrators. They fluctuate based on sleep, stress, comparison, uncertainty, and the invisible storms you carry inside. If you use them as your compass, you will betray yourself over and over again. But action, consistent, disciplined, measurable action, cuts through that fog like a blade. It becomes the signal in the noise. It becomes the proof that you are moving, even when your emotions claim you are stuck. The daily march begins with identifying 3 core behaviors that align with your future identity. Not vague goals, not dream board fantasies, behaviors, actions, movements, things your future self would do without hesitation. Maybe it's showing up to your craft, learning a skill, training your body, creating something meaningful, or doing the uncomfortable task you've been avoiding. These actions become your daily commandments. 3 obligations that you complete every single day with no negotiation. And here's the secret. The power of the daily march is not in how perfectly you execute. It's in the fact that you execute at all. Even if your effort is sloppy, minimal, or fueled purely by resentment, it's still momentum. A warrior swinging at 30% strength is still a warrior swinging. A tired step is still a step. Over time, these imperfect repetitions carry far more weight than the occasional burst of inspired effort. Consistency transforms you quietly, invisibly, relentlessly. This step forces you to develop the discipline of inevitability. When you show up day after day, even when you're hollow, even when you feel like a fraud, even when the results haven't arrived, you begin to form a new kind of self-respect. You stop being someone who hopes. You start becoming someone who follows through, someone who can trust their own word. That trust is rare, it is powerful, and it changes everything. There will be days when your mind manufactures excuses so convincing they feel like survival instincts. Days when rest feels sacred, when distraction feels earned, when giving up feels rational. These days are not obstacles. They are part of the training. They are the moments designed to forge the mental armor you will need for every higher level of your life. Showing up on those days is not just progress, it is self-forging. The daily march also dismantles one of the most dangerous illusions: the belief that progress must feel significant to matter. In reality, most breakthroughs are built on the back of countless small, unimpressive actions. A few pages read here, a few minutes of practice there, a single uncomfortable conversation, a single disciplined decision. You don't notice the shift at first, but something deep inside begins to realign. You start walking like someone who knows where they're going, even if you don't have the map yet. Mastering the daily march means accepting that your transformation isn't delayed. It's unfolding beneath the surface with every repetition, every difficult choice, every day you refuse to stay still. This step inoculates you against stagnation. It teaches you to advance even through doubt, uncertainty, or fear. And slowly, steadily, it turns you into someone unstoppable. Because someone who moves every day cannot be trapped in the same life for long. You don't need to feel powerful to move. You don't need to feel confident to show up. You simply need to take the next step. The daily march is the ritual that conditions your mind to obey your purpose, not your emotions. And once your mind learns that your actions are non-negotiable, the world begins to bend in ways you once thought were impossible. Step 2. Eliminate stillness by design. In the in-between, stillness is not rest. It is decay. It is the slow, silent rot that spreads through your ambition when you allow uncertainty to paralyze you. Doubt thrives in stagnant air. When you stop moving, you stop thinking clearly. You lose perspective. You lose direction. You lose the thread that ties you to your future self. That is why this step is not about speed. It's about eliminating the possibility of stagnation entirely. Movement, any movement, is the antidote to the fear that stalks you. When you move, you regain power. You regain control. You begin to see the path not because it suddenly appears, but because the act of walking forces the world to reveal options that were invisible while you were standing still. This is why the people who stay in motion outgrow the people who wait for clarity. One group advances, the other decays. To eliminate stillness, you must design a life where stagnation is no longer allowed to sneak in through the cracks. You must structure your days and weeks with intention, assigning meaning to every block of time. Not rigid perfection, purpose. A reason to move at all times. A reason to take action, even when your mind is spiraling. This means giving each day a specific identity. Some days are for creation. Some days are for sharpening your skills. Some days exist to rest strategically, not to collapse, but to reset the system. Other days become planning days, where you study your path, evaluate your choices, and adjust your direction. When each day has a role, you no longer drift. You no longer wander aimlessly. You move with the force of someone who refuses to die in the woods. But this step goes deeper. To eliminate stillness, you must stop fearing wrong turns. The illusion that every action must be correct is one of the greatest traps the mind creates. It's the lie that keeps people frozen, analyzing endlessly, waiting for certainty that never comes. You must embrace the truth. Wrong turns are part of the map. Every mistake clarifies the path. Every failure eliminates a dead end. Every misstep teaches you something about the terrain. This mindset shift is what separates those who break through from those who collapse under hesitation. The ones who succeed are not always the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to stop moving. They collect mistakes the way warriors collect scars, not with shame, but with recognition. Proof that they were brave enough to keep advancing when others chose paralysis. Start documenting your missteps. Write them down. Track them. Not as evidence of inadequacy, but as data, as coordinates, as lessons. You are mapping your escape from the woods in real time. Every failed route is one less path to wander blindly in the future. You are becoming a navigator, not a victim of circumstance. To eliminate stillness, you must also destroy the environments that reinforce it. Remove the distractions that keep you stuck. Cut off the habits that drain your fire. Turn down the voices that fuel your confusion. Shape your space, your digital world, your social circle, and your routines to support movement, not stagnation. If something keeps you frozen, it does not belong in the life you're building. And here's the darker truth. Most people don't stay stuck because they're incapable. They stay stuck because they refuse to leave the emotional comfort of an activity. Stillness feels safe. It feels familiar. It carries the illusion of control. The belief that as long as you don't move, you can't move in the wrong direction. But this is a lie. In the woods, stillness kills. Slowly, subtly, but inevitably. Movement, even flawed movement, saves you. It keeps your mind alive. It keeps your purpose burning. It reaffirms your identity as someone who refuses to quit. And once you build a structure that keeps you in motion, purposefully, intentionally, relentlessly, you begin to notice something profound. The fear doesn't go away, but it no longer dictates your choices. You become someone who can move through fear instead of collapsing under it. Eliminating stillness is not about frantic activity. It's about building an environment where motion is the natural state of your existence, where taking action becomes the default, where hesitation feels foreign, where stopping feels uncomfortable because you have trained yourself to associate movement with survival. And when you reach that point, inertia becomes your ally. Momentum becomes your armor. You start to move with a force that feels almost unstoppable. Obstacles become temporary, not permanent. Confusion becomes a signal to explore, not a reason to freeze. You become the kind of person who cannot stay lost for long. Step 3. Align your identity with your future self. There is a moment in every transformation where effort alone is no longer enough. You can move, you can push, you can grind through resistance day after day. But eventually, you hit a wall that cannot be broken by discipline alone. A wall built from the limitations of who you currently believe yourself to be. And this is where most people fail. Not because they lack ability, but because they cling to an identity that cannot survive the weight of the life they want. This step is about war, not with the world, but with the version of you that's dying. The one made of old habits, old beliefs, old fears, old patterns of self-doubt and self-sabotage. That version of you was built for survival, not expansion. They were shaped by environments, experiences, and emotions that no longer define your future. And yet they linger, familiar, comfortable, predictable. They whisper the same stories you've believed for years. You're not ready. You're not enough. You don't have what it takes. To align your identity with your future self, you must first understand a brutal truth. Your old self cannot come with you. They must be outgrown, confronted, replaced. This doesn't happen through inspiration. It happens through choosing daily to behave as the person you're becoming instead of the person you've been. Every decision becomes a fork in the road. You either reinforce the old identity or you feed the new one. An identity grows through repetition, just like skill, strength, or discipline. Start by asking yourself the question that future warriors use to guide their lives. What would the version of me who has already achieved this choose right now? Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Right now, in this moment. Would they scroll mindlessly or study? Would they shrink or speak? Would they retreat or advance? Would they numb themselves or confront their truth? Would they choose comfort or choose growth? Every answer becomes a command. When you act like your future self, you signal to your nervous system, your mind, and the world around you that the old self is no longer in charge. Slowly, your behaviors stop contradicting your ambitions. You stop holding two identities in conflict. You stop sabotaging the very goals you're fighting for. But alignment doesn't stop with choices. You must examine the environments that reinforce the identity you're trying to escape. Your physical space, your digital habits, your social circle, your routines. Everything around you either strengthens your future self or strengthens your past. If something belongs to the old identity, it must be removed, even if it's familiar, even if it's comfortable, especially if it's comfortable. This is where true transformation begins, when your world starts to reflect the person you're becoming, when your habits shift, when your language changes, when your standards rise, when you stop tolerating behaviors, situations, and relationships that belong to a version of you that's settled for less. You must also confront the psychological anchors holding you in place, those beliefs, fears, and narratives that have shaped your identity for years. Thoughts like, "I've always been this way," or "I don't deserve more," or "I'm not capable," act as chains. But chains only hold power when you forget you can break them. This step requires ruthless honesty. Identify the beliefs that contradict your future and replace them with beliefs that support it. Identity is not discovered. It is constructed. And once you begin to act, speak, think, and choose from the perspective of your future self, something remarkable happens. The world starts responding differently. Opportunities appear. People treat you differently. Your confidence grows, not because you achieved the goal, but because you became someone who inevitably will. The gap between who you are and who you're becoming begins to close, not through force, but through alignment. This step is where transformation becomes irreversible, because once your identity shifts, your actions follow naturally. Your discipline becomes instinctive. Your habits become automatic. You no longer struggle to force yourself into excellence. It becomes the only way you know how to operate. Your future self is waiting, not as a fantasy, but as a blueprint. They exist in potential, and your daily actions sculpt them into reality. When you align with that identity, the struggle changes. You're no longer clawing your way toward your dreams. You're walking the path as someone who was built to reach them. And when your identity finally catches up to your ambition, success stops being a question. It becomes a consequence. So here you stand, no longer blind, no longer wandering, no longer pretending you don't know what's required of you. You've seen the truth of the in-between. You've felt the weight of becoming. And now you carry the tools that separate those who rise from those who rot in the shadows of their own potential. The world will not applaud you for doing this work. It will not acknowledge the nights you drag yourself forward or the days you fight battles no one sees. But that's the point. This journey was never about recognition. It was about resurrection. You are shedding a life that was too small for your spirit. You are killing a version of yourself that cannot survive at the level you're stepping into. And those deaths hurt, but they are holy, painful, necessary, transformative. And when doubt returns, when the path goes quiet again, when you feel the old self clawing at your ankles trying to pull you back into comfort, remember this: you are still walking. You are still choosing. You are still becoming. No one can take that from you. Not fear, not failure, not uncertainty, not the ghosts of who you used to be. Your breakthrough is not luck. It's not magic. It's not a distant miracle waiting to fall into your lap. It is the inevitable outcome of someone who refuses to stop moving. So keep your head low, your fire high, and your feet forward. Walk with the conviction of someone who knows the forest is already thinning, even if you can't see the clearing yet. Walk like someone who understands that destiny doesn't belong to the strongest, the smartest, or the lucky. It belongs to the ones who endure. This season is shaping you, sharpening you, forging you. And by the time you return to this message, if you ever do, it won't be because you're lost. It'll be because you've become proof of everything written here. Keep going. Keep breathing. Keep walking. Your future self is already waiting.